My name's Sabrina Ramonov, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to use the open source framework Fabric to manage your LLM prompts and perform complex tasks by breaking them down into subtasks, where each subtask can be done by a crowdsourced prompt. And so here's the GitHub repo Fabric, created by Daniel Meisler. And I like his visual here explaining kind of the philosophy behind Fabric. The reality is, like, you just have too many prompts, and there isn't a good way to personally organize them, use them, chain them together, and iterate and version control the prompts. So the philosophy behind Fabric, as I understand it, is to take like our everyday challenges, the things we're trying to do in our work and life, and augment using AI and break them down into smaller subtasks. And for example, one subtask would be extracting wisdom from an article. Another subtask could be posting on a social media platform. Another subtask could be summarization. Another subtask could be proofreading or editing. A lot of these subtasks can be used in all different kinds of workflows. And so if you break them down into reusable components, and then the Fabric CLI gives you an easy way to chain them together to solve complex problems. Personally run into this problem myself. Like, I'm just tracking prompts in Notion right now because I like to publish them, make them available for free. It's just not very usable. It's annoying to keep updated. It's annoying to like copy paste prompts around. So here's what a typical Fabric prompt looks like. It's all written in Markdown, and it has a couple of key sections like the identity and purpose, the output section, the output instructions, and the input. So I'm just scrolling through here. And it took me less than 10 minutes to set everything up with Python and Poetry. So it's super, super easy to get going. And real quick, I just want to show examples of patterns. So here I'm going into the patterns folder, scrolling down. Here on the left-hand side, you can see all the different patterns open source. And what's really cool is you can pipe all of these patterns together to do pretty complex things with LLMs. So for example, extract wisdom. If you go to system. According to the README, they use system messages instead of the user prompts because they've had better results with the system message. So everything will be in this like system.markdown file. So here's the identity and purpose, steps, extract a summary, extract, surprising, insightful, interesting ideas, so on, very detailed, right? So there's a lot of value just in the open source, crowdsourced prompts here. And then the Fabric client gives you a way to easily chain them all together. Here are the output instructions. And then here's the input. So when you pipe it together, it's going to get the input from the previous pattern that you ran. Here's another example, like summarize debates, identity, goal, steps, output. So you can see how every prompt is structured really nicely. It has a lot of detail and everything. There's a lot of value, in my opinion, just in this prompts library. But the next step, like the ability to pipe everything together, is really, really cool. And so I'll show you that next. So the first thing I want to try is this pattern called create visualization that I'm pulling up here. Basically, it asks the LLM to make a concept visualization of a bunch of complex ideas. I love that the output instructions say do not complain twice in bold. And here as well, do not complain and give up, do not complain. Oh yeah, this is a fun one. Let's try it with an easy blog post first, and then a harder, more technical blog post. So I'm actually going to try it with my bio blog post. For those of you that don't know, this is my newsletter, sabrina.dev, and I have a section here about that just basically goes over who I am, what I've done, why I'm doing all this, like filming videos on AI and stuff. Okay, so now let's open our terminal. So here's the command for Fabric, basically grabbing this website, and then we're using GPT-4o. Here I specify the model, and then the pattern is create visualization. So that's what I showed you in GitHub. And that's all you have to do. So just click enter. What it's going to do, read this website and then create a visualization summarizing the conceptual ideas from this blog post. And the blog post is basically just kind of about my personal journey. And so this is pretty accurate. So it's like my name. I'm not 30 anymore. But education, physics and CS at Berkeley. Career journey, yeah, I built an AI company. It was not easy. Personal struggles, sold the company successfully, then kind of recovered from startup burnout, new ventures. Then I started sharing AI with my family. I saw their reaction, was like, whoa, this is mind blowing. And I decided then to teach more people how to use AI. Here's the visual explanation, the ASCII art, and then an explanation for what it created. So it created a box, added sections, included personal struggles and new ventures, highlighted her mission to teach AI. And that took, like 30 seconds to put together? Like I literally just pointed to a website, piped it into this fabric pattern to create a visualization. Everything is pretty accurate, except for my age. I'm not 30 anymore, but everything else looks good. Next thing I want to do is feed in a more technical, more challenging post. So I just pulled this from Hacker News this morning, a post about my fine-tuned models beat OpenAI GPT-4. Here's a TLDR. It walks through like a bunch of different metrics it's using, and then at the end our final aggregate scores for the models. So it's basically the same as we had before. All I did is change the URL. All right, and you can see here it's generating the visualization. Starts with a title and a subtitle. Oh, this is a nice table of the models that Alex was evaluating in this post. Here's an explanation for the visual. Title and description, a table listing the models evaluated and their accuracy score, which ones were the top performers, and a visual representation of the evaluation results. So I'm assuming this is pulling the results from the final aggregate scores, but I'm actually not sure since there's a lot of different charts. For example, ChatGPT 4.0 87.5. So let's see if that corresponds. Yeah, that is not the score here. Yeah, and nowhere in this blog post, even scanning all the images and stuff, nowhere in the blog post do I see a score for GPT 4.0 corresponding to 87.5. I'm not sure where these numbers are actually coming from. So let's say like Tiny Llama template free 81.2. Yeah, no, that's not coming from here. If I search anywhere on the page, I don't see like a 81.2 or 85. So I wouldn't say this is the fault of Fabric, but it is important to highlight kind of the limitations and to double check that these numbers are even correct. I couldn't find this at all for GPT 4.0, couldn't find this for Tiny Llama template free. And so although the structure of the visualization is good and everything, the actual accuracy numbers are not correct. Like they seem to be hallucinated. All right, now let's try something else. Specifically, I want to use Fabric to extract wisdom from a YouTube video. Just for this example, I'm just going to put my own YouTube video so I can like clearly see, what's right, what's not right. This is the command. So YouTube, and then you put in the link, then you pipe it into the extract wisdom pattern, which is what I showed you earlier here. I really like this pattern in particular because it outputs ideas, recommendations, habits, facts, insights, like all of these things from the given source material. So it's a lot more nuanced than just saying, summarize the following content. Okay, so let's go ahead and start that. Besides spelling my last name wrong, it's great, yeah. So parsing neural network diagrams. Okay. Exploring ChatGPT's multimodal capabilities. This is correct. Graph game is designed to enhance your understanding of neural networks, but manually coding the neural networks is tedious. That's right. I should probably start with what is this YouTube video so that you guys have some context. I built this thing called Graph Game to help you learn how to put together neural networks. Here's a more complex example of a neural network architecture diagram. And for me to add new levels to the game, I basically have to fill out one of these with the name of the neural network architecture, the nodes, and the edges. And it's just tedious stuff. Like I'd rather not have to do it by hand. And so the whole point of this video and experiment is to see if I could use multimodal ChatGPT 4.0 to parse a neural network architecture diagram, like here on the right-hand side, like literally just parse that into its corresponding nodes and edges so I could copy paste it into my code base and instantly create a new level for for the game. And it works surprisingly well. So if you haven't seen that video, it was actually pretty fun. Now let's go back to Fabric. So yeah, this is all correct. So manual coding of that was tedious and error prone, and ChatGPT 4.0 can interpret and format those diagrams into usable code. First, I tried it with an LSTM cell architecture, which showed pretty promising results, blah, 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 blah. Then I tried the deep RNN architecture, which was a bit more challenging, but it actually did incredibly well. I literally just copy pasted it. Yeah, I plan to extend GraphGame with more neural networks. Here, and then here are the insights. Multimodal can reduce manual coding effort. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said this somewhere. Oh, that's cool. Provides, so few-shot learning. Initially in the video, I gave ChatGPT 4 an LSTM architecture diagram, and I gave it the correct answer and asked it to kind of analyze the diagram, analyze the answer, and understand why it's the correct answer, why these nodes were parsed, why these edges were parsed from the diagram. With that context, then I asked ChatGPT to analyze a new diagram it hadn't seen before to generate the nodes and edges. I like this references section as well, like GraphGame, an interactive learning app developed. Besides my last name being wrong, this is all looking really good. That's right, yeah. This is exactly the flow of the video. LSTM was the initial one, then ResNet, then DeepRNN. This was done in, honestly, in like under a minute. So just literally pasted the YouTube URL, and then it extracted all of this wisdom from it. And of course, the cool thing is you can like customize these prompts. Like maybe this isn't what you want to extract from the YouTube video, but that's kind of the beauty of it. This is open source. Let's pull it, add your own variations of the patterns, and then extract wisdom here with your own pattern. And that's kind of what I view as the biggest appeal for this framework. I view it as a way to not only manage my prompts library, which is becoming like insane and chaotic, but also to like pipe together different complex prompts and prototype like complex workflows before I build it out in another system, like Zapier, for example, if I want to make it available to ordinary people that don't code. So I think this will be a really useful framework. Now what I want to do next is basically take the same YouTube video and then write a micro essay from it. And this could be really useful, for example, if you're a content creator and you're looking for new ideas, you could keep track of like hot news in AI and then write micro essays really quickly from those trending news stories. And it keeps getting my name wrong, which is strange. Literally in 10 seconds or whatever, like just spit out this micro essay. Da-da-da. So I'm just reading it. Yes, it mapped the nodes accurately. Next, I tested with ResNet for a more complex test here. Yeah, as the person who made this video and did this little experiment, this micro essay is 100% accurate. However, if we were to try it on like more technical material, like we did in the first example where we fed in that blog post comparing fine-tuned LLMs with ChatGPT, like that one it struggled with quite a bit, right? The more technical the content is, probably this will be a little bit less effective. But again, you can write your own prompts here, update this prompt so it's focused on technical material. Like you tell ChatGPT you're an expert in this, and you typically talk about these concepts. And that's the beautiful part of this open source framework. You can easily extend the patterns to fit your specific use case. But out of the box, everything I'm trying today is just completely out of the box. Like I set up Fabric this morning and I'm trying out these commands. And so far, I'm really impressed with how easy it is to pipe these things together and also the quality of each pattern itself. Now, another thing I want to show you is a really cool functionality for learning purposes. You can actually make flashcards from content, which I found really cool. So I'm going to feed it this introductory level blog post about generative AI agents. This post really is more for like business users, non-technical people who just don't know what generative AI agents are or what agents are in the first place. I'm going to feed in this pattern. So curl and then the link to the blog post, and then I pipe it into GPT 4.0, and then the pattern is called to flashcards. So let me just expand this so you can see it. Okay, and click enter. And now what this is going to do is like analyze the content and create like flashcards to help me learn the material. So you can imagine like really useful for education if you need to pass a test or exam or whatever it is. Okay, that is not correct. So let's try again. Okay, now that looks much better. Like, I don't even know what happened here. I did not know this. The lowest point on the Earth's surface. Okay. Wow, 7 times saltier. But now this looks much better. Super weird because it's the exact same command, but whatever. Okay, so here are the flashcards. Like, what are generative AI agents? How do they compare to non-generative agents? What's the role of memory in agent systems? What does it mean for agents to collaborate? You're trying to learn about a complex topic or a new topic, and you just feed in the website and literally just creates flashcards for you to practice. So I thought this was a super cool, unique use case. As my last example, this is a pretty fun one. It's called Find Hidden Message, and it basically tells the LLM that they're an expert in political propaganda and they need to be really cynical about whatever input they're getting and try to find hidden political messages. Let's try this actually on a blog post. I just went to Hacker News and pulled a blog post that I thought was interesting from Andrew Chen about the case against morning yoga, daily routines, and endless meetings. So let's go ahead and see what it does. So curl the Substack page, and then the pattern is called Find Hidden Message. I love at the end it says, this AI is tuned specifically to be cynical. Don't believe everything it says. Run it multiple times. I feel like every LLM output should have like a disclaimer like this at the end. Okay, cool. So overt message, reject routines, embrace serendipity, 10x work. Okay. Leverage assets like compound over time. Yeah, I mean, these are definitely the key themes in the blog post. I kind of scanned it this morning. Hidden message, traditional productivity advice is ineffective. Okay. Prioritize high risk, high reward, blah, blah, blah. Devalue routine tasks. Okay. Supporting arguments. That seems pretty accurate. But yeah, I'm curious about its more cynical analysis. Andrew Chen wants you to believe he is an innovative disruptor that wants you to challenge norms and embrace chaos. But he's actually a self-promoter that wants you to prioritize personal branding and visibility. That is a cynical analysis. Okay, more balanced analysis. Push for rejecting routines, but he's actually pushing for focus on high-risk, high-reward activities in addition to the main message. Yeah, I think that's pretty fair and balanced. And then favorable. This is kind of fluffy. Don't love that one. The cynical analysis is pretty funny though. All right, that's it for this introduction to Fabric. Again, it's open source here on GitHub. Really recommend you check it out, at least to look at the patterns, which are the crowdsourced prompts. And I think they're pretty high quality out of the box, but of course you can create your own prompts and then pipe inputs just like I showed you here. And I think this is a really awesome open source project. And I'm considering adopting it as my primary way to prototype different LLM chains that I build before I port it into a low-code builder like Zapier or Make that, non-technical people can use. So hope this was helpful. My name's Sabrina Ramonov. If you like this video, hit like, hit subscribe, and drop a comment below. Look forward to hearing from you.